Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird, true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 687, written by UlrikeLuvsAndreas, a glitch of the Aztek. Okay, so let me preface this by saying that since about 1999 to 2000, I've been getting accused of being places, having conversations I don't remember, etc. This other me always drives the same car that I have. I think the two of us have been swapping back and forth for 2 decades. Until this past autumn, it hadn't happened for several years. Then in October, I was getting phone calls or people telling me later they saw me somewhere and that they were calling me, but I ignored them. On to the main reason I came to post this. In November, I was in a horrible car accident. My best friend lives about a mile from me. We were leaving my house and heading to hers. She left about 2 minutes before me, her 12-year-old daughter with her. About a minute after I left, she called to tell me that she was stopping at the gas station and that I needed to get over into the right lane because there's a really bad accident blocking the left lane. She says it's weird because one of the vehicles in the accident looked exactly like mine. We hung up right before I went through an intersection about a quarter of a mile from the gas station and the intersection where the accident was. I set the phone next to me, and the next thing I know, I can only describe what is my soul or life force being forcefully sucked back into my body. My left leg is pinned under the dashboard and the windshield is on top of me. I was somehow instantly transported 6 blocks to an accident that happened before I was even on that street. My best friend and her daughter says there's no way this could have happened because they passed the accident while on the phone with me. The people who stopped to help all said they didn't know what happened and didn't see anything special. The street was full of cars. It was rush hour on a main street. When I say that my van was totaled, I mean that no one knows how I survived. I had to be cut out of it with the jaws of life. Once I was out of the hospital, I started noticing little things being just off. I just can't put my finger on what it is that's not right. I feel like I'm in a different reality, be it ever so slightly different. I think maybe my alternate me died and I lived. I don't know. But I can't figure out how the accident happened or how I went on from one intersection to another in a split second. How my best friend and her 12-year-old daughter saw it while they were on the phone with me telling me about it. And then it happened to me. This whole situation is driving me nuts, and maybe somewhere I have kids that are mourning their mother. Right before the accident was when several people said they saw me, and since the accident, no one has seen her, and I don't know if anyone ever will again. This is all just blowing my mind, and whenever I try to tell someone about it, they look at me like I need a padded room and 24/7 observation. I'd probably think that too if I didn't have independent witnesses. I absolutely can't believe I forgot this part. So, last year, I filed my taxes and got my refund, but I needed to file an amendment and was told I'd get it by early August. August comes and goes and nothing happens. No one can tell me jack. I forget about it. This whole time, the van that was wrecked, I had a massive hole in the radiator, among other major things that were not worth fixing. The amendment was gonna get me a new car. Well, an accident happens. I can't leave my house for 3 months due to injury and panic attacks at the suggestion. February rolls around, and in the middle of the night, I see an envelope on the floor next to my bed. I open it, and it's the damn amendment check, finally. No one knows where it came from, and everyone swears it was never in the mailbox. Anyways, a few weeks prior to this, my best friend, same one from above, who works at a mechanic shop, casually mentioned she bought a 2001 Pontiac Aztek at a ridiculous price to resell there. My jaw drops. That vehicle is number 3 on my all-time list. I've literally wanted one since 2001. It has one owner, almost in brand new condition. I was fretting for 3 weeks how to get the money to buy it because they weren't going to hold it. Boom comes the check. At the exact same time, I can now leave my house. At the exact same time, that car shows up. If I had gotten it back in August, I probably would have fixed the van's problems because it would have been easier and cheaper. So all that crap happens with the accident, and then this was my silver lining. A vehicle that was only manufactured for 5 years and barely sold any, and was touted as the car that killed the Pontiac. Like, that was what made this whole thing even weirder. Plus, I paid half what it was worth because of the hookup from my best friend. Basically paid for the repair to it that the owner didn't want to pay. These cars are going to be buried with me, y'all. So that's the weird story more than a coincidence. Rest of ending to the story. In all, it's perfectly timed madness. And honestly, if it meant I ended up with the Aztek, I'd do the whole thing over. Broken body and never having answers to all of it. I honestly posted this because I wanted to know if anyone else had a similar experience, and maybe not to feel so alone. Sincerely, thank you. Bonus file, written by Sis Goldhour. When even your money is haunted. So, I've had a few paranormal experiences in my life thus far. Some frightening stuff, but nothing that was actually dangerous in retrospect. I recently started a security job at a bank. I work overnight and monitor the entirety of the building's interior, as well as patrols of the exterior. The building is 6 stories, with only the bottom one actually being the functional bank. The upper floors are mainly untouched and outdated offices, with a few being rented by businesses. No one whatsoever is in the building at night, and surveillance doesn't cover the upper floors because they're so well separated from the bank. While doing my rounds of the upper levels and checking every unlocked room, for example bathrooms, closets, mechanical rooms, storage spaces, stairwells, the whole 9 yards, I didn't find anything as usual. But while I was on the 4th floor, I heard someone call my name and heard a door close. Of course, I was freaked out, but I pushed through the fear and tried to stay rational. I did a second sweep of the floor, and again, nothing. Then I got really scared. I got to the stairwell on the floor and opened the door to listen. Stairwells echo really badly, so we're taught to be silent and listen for intruders. While I'm standing there, with my head peeked through the door, I don't hear anything. Until I do. 2 men's voices come from the stairwell, I'm assuming. I announced myself and started up, but found nothing and didn't hear any doors open or close, which I should have. Then I'm at the last flight up to the roof and I heard loud footsteps running up the stairs. I'm absolutely terrified at this point and prepare myself for physical altercation. Weapon at the ready, I wait for the perp to come to me because I'm on high ground. The steps sound close enough that I should be able to see the person causing them, but I don't. Then I hear labored breathing with the steps and still see nothing. Next thing I know, I'm physically pushed back. I didn't fall very far, more like collapsed into the steps behind me. The sounds continue to the roof door, and to my shock it opens with a bang, and then shuts. I actually saw it open and shut. It's normally locked, so I go to secure it and call the cops, but when I get to it, it's locked again. I have absolutely no explanation for this. I've never been pushed or physically touched by an entity, and I'm shaking badly. On top of this, the next night I'm sitting in the lobby with elevators behind me. Again, no one in the building. And I hear the outdated elevator go up some floors, stop, and shift with weight entering it, then come back down. I'm absolutely terrified as it touches down and the doors open. No one in sight, but when I got up to look closer, something stepped towards me, pushed me over again, then ran up the stairwell adjacent to the elevator. I'm terrified of this building. I'm the first female guard they've hired, newer company. The men I've spoken to don't experience anything. It pays too good to quit, but I'm at a loss of what to do. Case notes. Bonus file. When even your money is haunted. So, reading this story, I actually get a lot of vibes of, not paranormal, but of someone scouting out the bank. Now, of course, you ask, well, how could they be doing that if it's a real person? Do they have advanced cloaking technology? Which, to my knowledge, isn't actually something anyone can just buy. If anyone had that kind of technology, it would be government related. But what would they be doing scouting out some random bank? Why would they care? Maybe there's some important documents or technology that's hidden away in one of the safety deposit boxes. Just speculating. I really don't know why someone would scout out some random bank if they had technology that advanced. It is theoretically possible though. By using cameras and computers embedded in a suit, you could project the image from behind to the front, and then you'd have a sort of cloaking technology. But it wouldn't work exactly perfectly. At certain angles, the image wouldn't be able to match the perception of the person looking at it, which is a serious problem. So you would probably be able to perceive that it wasn't a ghost, it would be a human, just depending on the angles. The few things that lead to this point, though, the first is that you don't report any sensations of being cold or lights flickering. I don't know if anything like this exists. It is a cool idea. I hope it does. Depending on who's using it, of course. But yeah, you only reported sounds, weird sounds, and then no one's there. And voices too. So that could be a real person. The other thing is that to get to the door they had to go through you. They pushed you out of the way for some reason. If it was a ghost, why would they care? Why would they just randomly push someone and then just disappear through a door? To open and close it too, why not just phase through the door? Just to mess with you? I guess it's possible. Maybe the bank is haunted by a poltergeist and who's just having fun with you. But I don't know. That doesn't quite fit in my mind. Not inconceivable, but I think there's something a bit more mundane, but technologically awesome. Something like that.